You can protect billion-dollar systems. You can think in threat models, attack vectors, worst-case scenarios. And at the same time, you freeze when a woman makes eye contact with you. That's not hypothetical. That was Artem. Artem works in cybersecurity, smart guy, logical, analytical, high responsibility job. And when it came to women, he was terrified. And I worked with him closely for months. Watched him approach, watched him hesitate. What shocked me wasn't that he struggled, it was how predictable his struggle was. So in this video, I want to walk you through what I learned from working with Artem and why smart, high-performing, analytical guys get stuck here with women. And if you're great at your job but feel completely out of depth with women, you need to watch this. So the first lesson I learned from working with Artem was how passive he had been for years before we met. He told me that he had been watching videos on how to approach women for years. He knew the theory, he understood the concepts, but he hadn't taken real action. And this is something I see all the time. Guys consuming endless content, articles, books, YouTube videos. They know what they're supposed to do, but nothing changes in their real life. And that was Artem. And what finally made him take action was actually pure coincidence.
Before Gus, I was looking at videos of guys approaching, and suddenly I stick with the Gus video, and I saw in the background he was like in Barcelona. So yeah, he's Barcelona.
He saw a video of me and realized that I was in the same city of him, and that was his trigger. And in a way, he got lucky. But here's the real truth. If he had decided to work on this area of his life years earlier, when he first realized that there was a problem, he would have saved himself years of frustration. Years. Yes, it's good that he eventually took action. That part matters. But the mistake was waiting. And that's what I want you to learn from this. Don't wait for a massive crisis. Don't wait until your best friend suddenly becomes a dating coach. If you already know that this is a struggle for you, that's your signal. The earlier you start working on this, the more years of your life you can actually save. The second lesson I learned from working with Artem was this. In the beginning, most guys feel a lot of excitement when they start approaching women in real life. Even if they have a lot of anxiety, there's this adrenaline, there's novelty, there's this feeling of, okay, I'm finally going to do something about this. And because of that adrenaline, a lot of guys actually get results pretty fast at the start. And that's exactly what happened with Artem.
And I came very excited to begin, and I was getting a lot of approaches. I was getting some results, it was like during 2 sessions, I think. And I remember it was Wednesday night after work, and I got all day rejections. So after that, I was like very frustrated.
Early on, he was doing a lot of interactions, he was approaching frequently, and he was getting numbers. Things felt exciting, but then the reality kicked in. The adrenaline wore off, and mathematically it was inevitable. He had a few days where he got a lot of rejections in a row, and here's the mistake that he made. A mistake I see all the time. Instead of keeping the same amount of action, he pulled back. He reduced the amount of approaches he was doing, he stopped doing as much homework, and he started protecting himself from the discomfort. And that slowed his progress dramatically. And this is the part that no one warns you about. When you start this journey, the adrenaline will carry you at first. But that phase doesn't last long, and when it ends, that's where the real work begins. You're going to have days where conversations fall flat. You will get rejected more than usual, and how you respond to those days determine everything. If you let those rejections reduce your action, your results will collapse. So what's critical is learning how to stay consistent, even on the hard days, learning how to keep showing up, even when it doesn't feel rewarding. That's the real skill. And for Artem, this was one of the hardest things in this process, and it's something that we had to work through deliberately. So learn from his experience. Expect that adrenaline to slowly fade. Expect the rejection phases, and decide ahead of time that those moments are not a signal to stop. They're the moments where things get real and the real transformation actually starts. Now, the third lesson I learned from working with Artem was how passive he was becoming in his dating life. And that passiveness didn't just come from laziness, it came from lack of belief in himself. After years of not getting results that he wanted with women, he genuinely didn't believe that things could actually work for him. And one day after we had already been working together for a few weeks, he approached a girl. The interaction was going pretty well. They were talking for a few minutes. It felt natural. It was a Sunday morning. And then the girl mentioned that she was going to a museum. And then something very interesting happened. She suggested that he could walk with her. She was basically inviting him on a date, and I could hear everything through the AirPods. The problem was that he was so shocked that he almost didn't know what to do. Even in a moment where a girl was clearly giving him an opportunity, he stayed passive, not because he didn't want it, but because deep down he didn't believe it was possible. And because of that, I had to actively guide him in real time. I was texting him what to say, how to move things forward. Eventually actually turned into a pretty good date.
I was looking like all the time behind because it followed me, and I thought that it's going to be for like Insta date, and I probably should go with her, and I got like a lot of texts, you know.
But here's the real lesson. If you haven't had success with women for a very long time, you almost become super passive. You stop leading, you stop assuming things can work out, and you wait instead of acting. And that is super, super dangerous. With most women, you cannot be passive. You have to take the lead. And if you don't believe in yourself, that belief doesn't magically appear out of nowhere. You can't think your way into the confidence. You have to act your way into the confidence because action creates belief. The fourth lesson I learned from them is this. There are no real limits to what you can do, no matter how shy you think you are. A few weeks before Artem and I started working together, he couldn't even imagine approaching a single girl, not one. In his head, that was completely impossible for him. Now, fast forward a few weeks, we're walking around the city and I spot a group of 6 girls. I look at him and I say, go talk to them. And here's the crazy part. He actually did it.
Because I saw a group of 6 girls and I said, okay, like you need to, and you went and did it. You went and did it. And then we were talking, and I mean, could you imagine yourself like a couple of weeks ago approaching a group of 6 in a daylight? You know, it's insane.
Never. I was afraid to approach one girl. Then I stepped out a bit of my comfort zone. I approached 2 girls. Well, just saying that have a nice day or stuff like that. I don't remember. And today it was like there was 6 or 8 girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about that for a second. This is a guy who not long ago couldn't even picture himself saying hello to one girl in broad daylight. And now he's walking in front of a group of 6 girls. Was it the smoothest approach ever? No. Did everything go perfectly? Also no. But that's not the point. The point is that he did it. And in that moment, something clicked for him. He proved to himself that he's capable of way more than he ever thought he believed. And a lot of you watching this, you're doing the same thing Artem was doing before. You label yourself as introverted, too shy, too analytical, not this kind of guy. You tell yourself, I could never do this. That's exactly what Artem believed before, until he didn't. Most of the limits you think you have are not real limits. They're just beliefs that have never been challenged. And because you've been holding them for years, they feel really true. But they're not. You can talk to women in real life. You can approach them. You can get dates. You can build amazing relationships, no matter where you come from, no matter your background, and no matter how shy you think you are. If Artem could go from 0 to approaching a group of 6, you can do a lot more than you think too. And finally, the fifth and the most important lesson from working with Artem, and the main reason he actually succeeded, was a very simple thing that most guys are missing: ownership. Artem took full ownership of his dating life. He realized that no one was coming to save him.
If I want to have a family, or like to begin with to have a girlfriend and then to have a family, nobody is going to look me for wife, you know, while I'm not doing anything. So it's like everything depends on me, and I need to step out of my comfort zone and go for it.
Yes, he got help. Yes, he got support. But no one was going to do the approaches for him. No one was going to talk to women for him. No one was going to fix the anxiety for him. He had to take action. At some point, he stopped blaming external things. He stopped blaming the society. He stopped blaming the past. And he decided, this is my responsibility. And a lot of guys ask me this question: how do you know who's going to succeed? What qualities do most of your successful students have? Is it looks? Is it height? Is it money? Is it initial social skills? And after coaching a lot of guys, I can tell you honestly, those things are not the main factor. The biggest predictor of success with women is ownership. The guys who succeed are the ones who take 100% responsibility of this area of their life. They don't outsource it emotionally. They don't wait for confidence to magically appear. They don't sit around hoping for things to change. They take responsibility. They follow directions, and then they take actions even when it's uncomfortable. If you fully own this process, if you stop blaming everything outside of you and you actually commit to doing the work, you will get results. And if you're at a point where you would be ready to take that ownership and you want guidance the same way Artem had guidance, with me pushing you, giving you feedback, and helping you week after week, then my one-on-one mentorship might be a good fit for you. I work with logical, analytical guys all over the world who want to build real confidence, real social skills, and learn how to meet women in real life. If that sounds interesting, check out the first link in the description.